make a video really capturing just kind of how spoiled I was in high school. So this is where I lived in high school, 418 Dwight Road. And as you can see on the map, walking distance, and this is actually when I would walk to school. I would take Lexington Way, and it was zero point 0.5 miles to get to school. And there's a back gate right there where I could enter the campus. And I'll just pull up. This is how you'll understand how silly this is, because now I'll pull up the driving one, and as you can see, I have to go much further to drive to school. But that's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to make sure I started this way because I don't want anyone to think that I haven't gotten everything way more than what I should have got. So, but the point of this video is I wanted to talk about just the car scene as I saw it. Granted, it was obviously um, that was my world, and I'm not going to say any names so that way no one, I'm just going to talk about the cars because I think that's actually the point, So because even though you had a really big car culture, it was fractional. I mean, there was groups, and so the group that I knew the least about, because if I'm honest with myself, I would just talk shit, and that was American Muscle guys. So you had a lot of guys with the rat rods, basically like they were rebuilding their whole car was basically like them building their car, and they prided themselves on just doing everything themselves. Like granted, we were always making fun of them when their cars blew up, but I mean, I guess to me my perception was that it was really important. The horsepower was really important, and being really loud was really important to me. And that's, I don't know, I didn't hang out with those guys. I think if I could go back in time, maybe I would. But that's all I really know about the American Muscle scene. The other group I know the least about too is kind of like the guys I saw with the older Datsuns, like your older Datsuns, kind of like the nicer BMWs. I had a friend, he had, I think it was a convertible BMW, but regardless, those guys, it was more about the experience of driving. They didn't really go fast. I mean, you know, kudos to the gentleman that owned the Datsun. I mean, I love that. It was like I forget what it was. It was the two-door. I don't remember the model, but it was a very nice car. And that's the thing. I noticed with those guys, they didn't really want to push their car so hard because, I mean, their car was almost like this like piece of artwork. So to them, it was more about just kind of like cruising. And and I thought that was cool too. So um, the group that I was more heavily involved with was the Asian scene, and within that group you had multiple groups. So you had your guys that were basically, with your 240 SXs, 200 SXs, or excuse me, I'll just say your Sylvia. I wasn't able to get my Fair Lady, but that's what I wanted. I tried to talk my mom into getting me a Sylvia 240 SX, but she wasn't having that either. And the same thing with the 200 SX. So I had to bring up all those because I tried so hard. She let me test drive them, but I couldn't get. She wouldn't let me. Uh, and this is where I'm saying I'm spoiled. So I agree. So I had a bunch of friends that had Preludes. I actually love the Honda Prelude. I think that was a great car. Really like the 240, the Prelude. Um, I had another buddy. He had the Honda Accord B6 two-door. That was a badass car once you put an exhaust on it. But anyways, that's kind of like the type of cars that. Oh, and then I had a friend that had a Acura Integra Type R. I'm trying to think what else in that kind of group. Um, that's the majority. And then you had the bass scene, which I thought was really cool. Like I had friends that were, you had your basically your wagons, right? Like, and that's kind of where I fell into. I had a Nissan Pathfinder, but I had a buddy who had Rav4, and I did the whole bass thing too. Like that's what I actually really appreciate is I could roll around, doing the whole bass. I don't know, I don't even know what that means anymore, but just basically massaging our backs with huge subwoofers. But I appreciate that I had friends that would let me drive their car. So in a lot of ways, I kind of was able to enjoy the best of both worlds because I could drive slow and have people in my car. But then, like if I ever wanted to drive spiritly, I could either borrow my dad's car or I had friends they would let me drive their cars, and I thought that was really cool. So that's just my quick 2 cents on BHS car scene. I know this is outdated info. That's like 25 years ago. That's like 95 to 99. Um, but I'm really hoping, like, hypothetically, if I were to move back home, I'm curious kind of how things have progressed, or maybe there is no car scene. I don't know. Maybe that's not a thing anymore. I really appreciated it though. Like when you were driving in the mornings, and basically that's the thing. The mornings was the time for the guys with the muscle cars. Like that. That's what I say. Like that's cool. You show up, everybody's got to see you. Hey, shout out to you, bro. But Japanese cars can be loud too, and I get it. It doesn't sound as good, but still, look, I'm just saying, I love it. Look, I loved it. I think the thing I loved the most was everybody could talk shit, and we all knew that it was just for fun, because at the end of the day, you loved your car, I mean, it was nothing but love. All right, thank you. Have a blessed night. Bye.